The Women's Premier League match of the round finally returns to Blacktown Football Park, and this occasion has the potential to be a memorable contest. It's Parklea who host Holroyd Rangers. Thank you all as ever for tuning into the live stream. My name is Mark DePoli, and if you'll allow me a couple of minutes of your time to clue you in on the importance of this match, I think you'll find that your intrigue peaks a little higher. The Women's Premier League may be in its inaugural year, but that doesn't mean that these two sides haven't met before. In fact, they are far from strangers. The WPL incorporates teams from the Hills, Granville and Blacktown competitions, but prior to this year, the latter two had their own division. Last season, in what was called the All-Age Women's 1, Holroyd finished second to Parklea's third, to which the Blacktown-based Parklea came out on top against the Granville-based Holroyd in the grand final qualifier. 9 consecutive grand final appearances, over half of them victories. A team that trained together and socialise as one away from football, this Parklea squad is the most experienced in the competition and the most familiar with each other. Though they may be suffering from something of a midfield crisis today, their collective ability to peak at the right time of the season is uncanny and rather impressive to say the very least. Led by Luke Ryan, once part of a Parklea men's Premier League side that went 6 in a row just over 10 years ago, while they may have downplayed the significance of this game on the Blacktown Football Hour podcast on this week's episode, they'll still be keen to be the ones who end Holroyd's undefeated run. Holroyd's undefeated run. 8 games, 7 wins, 1 draw. That one draw? Round 1, a 2-all against, yes, you guessed it, Parklea. What more can you say about this side that hasn't already been said? Investing in a new crop of players ahead of the first ever season of the Women's Premier League, Holroyd hit the ground running, sprinting, and they haven't taken their foot off the gas. 20 goals scored, 6 conceded, and as seen in their match of the round win over Marion on the live stream, capable of scoring brilliant goals. Exceptional game management skills too. With an influx of players with NPL experience, some with experience playing football overseas, this Holroyd Rangers outfit is equipped with some certified talent, and to those families who are tuning in from all corners of this great big world, the suburb which we are in today is called Rooty Hill, and as the crow flies, we are 17,187 kilometres from Dublin, Ireland, 7,735 from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, and 6,238 from Manila, the capital of the Philippines. The Women's Premier League match of the round occasion continues to expand the Western Sydney football community, just a stone's throw from the home Women's World Cup coming up in July, and yet on the flip side of that, it also makes this huge earth feel a little bit smaller too. Hello to everyone from wherever you're watching along from. It's Parklea versus Holroyd Rangers. I think it's time we go through the starting 11s of both of these sides. Let's start with Parklea, who at their home ground of Blacktown Football Park are considered, of course, the home side. In goal, it's Shannon Williams. She's been here for 15 years. She is a tall and demanding goalkeeper who commands her box very, very well. It's a back four of Tanika Singh in the 4 jersey in her 4th year at the club. She's next to Alexandra Reeves, who has a match of the round goal, which was an exceptional free kick that almost won the goal of the week in the BDSFA competition. She's next to Brittany Rogers in the 69 jersey, who's never broken a bone in her life, but is, aside from that, one of the hardest defenders in the competition and was a grand final player of the match contender in 2022. On the right, it's Melissa Bentley, the 26-year-old who wears the number 2, is a police officer downtime, the right back, which is the position number 2, who wears the 2. Very satisfying indeed. Courtney Holmes, who featured on the podcast this week, is the deepest of the midfield diamond in the 7 jersey in her 17th year in Parklea. On the right of the midfield diamond, it's Shannon Murray in the 15. On the left, in 12, it's Regan Mitchell, who are helping out to solve the midfield crisis this week. It's top goal scorer and 2-time All-Age Women's 1 Golden Boot winner Cassidy Williams in the 11 jersey, but playing as the one behind the 2 strikers. Speaking of the 2 strikers, 28-year-old Shannon Ellis is on the right with 13 years of experience in Parklea colours. On the left, in the 9 jersey, as the 9, with 2 goals this year, Nicole St. Julian. For the first time that I've had the privilege of commentating Holroyd Rangers, I'll now read out their starting 11 in their 4-3-3 formation. Jacinta Mawson starts in goal. She hasn't conceded a goal in any of the match of the rounds that she's played in, although that's only 1. We'll see if that maintains today, having conceded 6 only all season from 8 games. Lawana Takatahiwi is the 35 wearing left back. She's played in this club for a number of years now. She's one of 4 surviving members from last year's squad, which was a good squad and has gotten even better this year. Louise Horgan wears 15, is the left-sided centre-back next to Paige Horgan's. Louise family will be watching along at approximately 6 a.m. in Scotland right now, despite being Irish people themselves. But they were watching the first stream, and I know that they'll be watching that one today as well. So hello to you guys. Next to Paige as the 13 wearing right centre-back, it's Vivian Vo, who is of Vietnamese background. In her first year at the club, she wears 19 on her back, and I'm sure her family will be watching along as well. The deepest of the midfield three is the number 41, but playing as the 6, of course, it's Daniela Palazzolo, who actually works as the head chef in her family's restaurant. It's her first year at the club, and she's predominantly played in the MacArthur Association, but now in this Hills, Granville, and of course Blacktown one, she's becoming a star in the table-topping midfield. Next to her is the one who did all the media duties at the start of the year. It's Charmaine Martinez in the 36 jersey. She scored the second goal in that 2-2 draw against Parklea in round 1. She's also a former MacArthur Rams under-17s to reserve grader. Dion, or better known as D King, has one of the greatest and most fascinating stories I've come across in my time as a commentator. She's played futsal for Oz. She still plays futsal at state level for New South Wales. She's played at Nepean, UNSW, Apia, and the latter of which she did for 10 years, winning 2 premierships across first and reserve grade. I've got some more stories to tell as time goes on, 2 hours to tell them, and I promise you I'll keep them in the bank. But she's awesome, and she plays as the 10. She wears 16. On the right, it's Natalie Randall, who used to play at Canton Tigers at NPL level with 3 goals this year. Through the middle, it's Sarah Bernard, who scored the second goal of 2 against Marion in the match of the round. And on the left, another one who's done a lot of media duties across the years, and most recently this week on the podcast, it's Felicia Alonso de Brezhny in the 7 jersey. That's a hyphenated last name between Alonso and de Brezhny, by the way. Those are your 2 lineups, the 2 starting 11s, plenty of talent off the bench to come on as well, including some star Holroyd players who have been returning from injury in the last couple of weeks. Parklea, of course, if you've never watched them before, are in that sort of light, or I should say dark teal, or blue, if you want to put it more simply. Holroyd in their away strip today are in black, but usually they wear predominantly green and yellow. And big thank you once again for those who are tuning in. It is great to have you. We are just waiting for the toss of the coin to see who will be kicking off and who will be heading which way. If you've never been to this venue before, by the way, the sun does come from the left-hand side of your screen and does set at around 4:25. However, there are some clouds that are covering today, so ideally you'd want to be running left to right across your screen in the first half, hoping that by the second half it's behind the trees, the sun. Either way, let's see. So the 2 teams will swap on over. The wind is starting to pick up here, 100 metres inside the Doonside to Rudy Hill suburb boundary border. Big thank you to our referees today. On the sides, Luke Calder, Thomas Boyd, and through the middle, Shane Paris, our centre referee. Parklea, the home side, running left to right. Just to confirm to you if you've just tuned in, Holroyd in first place. The table toppers having only dropped 2 points all year, running right to left. It's both of these 2 sides match of the round appearance, but for Parklea it's their third. For Holroyd it's their first. I think with a slight delay to kick off by about 3 minutes, we're finally ready to go underway. The sun's now starting to creep across the field as well. It's about to get very interesting. First v third. And if Parklea want any hopes of finishing top of the lots, even though they haven't said that they necessarily want to, they just want to peak during finals, today is the time where they can do it in the ultimate 6-pointer. Away, in fact, we are. It's out wide with St Julian at the moment. Nicole, that is, the number 9 for Parklea, picks it up and has the first throw-in of the day. It's headed away there. And Holroyd are doing the back foot defending so far in the opening couple of seconds of the match. That is Shannon Ellis trying to turn towards goal, but she's lost out. Picked up here by Alonso de Brezhny. Take it to Hiwi, picks it up. 2 of the most complicated surnames in the entire competition are both playing down the left-hand flank for Holroyd, so that'll give me a nice real challenge today as that ball goes into touch on this near side for the first time and gets the fans involved straight away. Already coming together on Alonso de Brezhny. That's caused a little scratch along the right arm and hand there. So she's got a bone to pick now. It's cleared by Horgan. And then sent wide to Natalie Randall, who you can identify by the gloves that she's wearing. It's the right day to do it. It's going to get cold out there. That was Regan Mitchell who picked it up in midfield. So no Elizabeth Musa today. No Danielle Rolfe for Parklea all the way. St Julian picks it up. You can tell by the orange boots and the tall frame who she is straight away. Been a real estate agent for 15 years, so she knows how to find space quite well. Ignore the pun. Actually, don't. It was pretty good. Picked up here by Alonso de Brezhny, and she's got one ahead of her in Sarah Bernard. Instead, she opts to go back to Takatahiwi. Now it's picked up in midfield by Palazzolo. That's a poor clearance by Tanika Singh, and that's better there by Courtney Holmes. St Julian had the sun go into her eyes, but Cassidy Williams trying to put the pressure on the Irish woman in Louise Horgan. And she's done well, and she turns away and she sends it forward. Brittany Rogers, who was a late arriver to the Blacktown Football Park, needs to sharpen up, or she's going to have the ball snatched off her another time. She's lucky she got away with that. So fantastic to see almost 100 people have tuned in from around the world to the Women's Premier League today. It's fantastic to have you all. A reminder, if you've just tuned in, this is a first v third clash here at Blacktown Football Park. It should be a first claim or goal kick for Shannon Williams, and it is. So Parklea have a goal kick. A reminder as well, the beauty of local football is that you have the option to leave your comments in the live chat, and we'll interact with those as you leave them. So don't be afraid to say hi as the game goes on. It's been cleared by Shannon Williams and picked up here by CJ Martinez. That's better work there by Shannon Murray, but again, Holroyd, the tabletoppers, have picked it up here in midfield. It's a battle of who's got the stronger midfield. In doing so, Luke Ryan, the coach of Parklea, has put a fourth woman in midfield to try and cope with Holroyd's three. Let's see if the numerical advantage will help them gain some footing in midfield. Courtney Holmes has to be quick to it. She's been closed down by Dee King. Dee, her nickname. Takatahiwi in a battle here. And it's sent upwards with Tanika Singh involved. Looks like the two fullbacks have swapped. So Tanika Singh on the right here, Melissa Bentley off to the left. No real rush to take this, of course. These two sides have only just started playing. It is deadlocked at 0-0 in the opening couple of moments of the game. Cassidy Williams, who's a real speedster and a two-time Golden Boot winner, is the one to watch out for behind the strikers tonight. In more of a creative role with 5 goals this year. And they want her physicality in midfield to get on the ball more rather than run in behind. Have to be careful and keep the hands down here as Parklea enter the box for the first time in the game. She does keep her footing, does Regan Mitchell. But it's ended up being a really good interception, but not one that didn't happen before it found touch. So it will be a corner. Now it's actually Holroyd who are the supreme corner kick takers in the competition, particularly from all forms of set pieces. In particular, Dee King, the number 16, who plays as the 10. She has 7 assists, and most of them are from corners this year. But let's see what Parklea are capable of. They scored from one in the grand final at this venue last year. What about this time towards the front post? It's bounced once and then headed towards goal. Should be cleared by Martinez, and it is comprehensively. And even better there by Randall to switch it to Alonso de Brezhny. Who can't quite beat Tanika Singh though, but fortuitously she gets it back, puts it back to Charmaine Martinez. And she's done well in combination there with Paige Hawkins. Back to Hawkins, a little bit out of position, Martinez. She doesn't know where to go, and now there's a lot of pressure on her. She might just be forced to clear it. Takatahiwi can't quite do it either. Holroyd just needs to clear their lines. Palazzolo tries to turn dangerously, but she's actually done quite well to clear. Picked up here by Melissa Bentley, whose touch was loose, but it's worked out in Parklea's favour. Or has it? King sends it forward, and it's a foot race now between Rogers and Bernard, but it was always going to be the former who gets there first. Into the midfield with Courtney Holmes, but given away, and King picks it up. Not that she knew about it, but Palazzolo got the critical touch there, and it's been given as a free kick for a late little reach out off the ball. Standing over it is King. Left-footed clip in towards the edge of the box. That's worked out really nicely for Renali Randall, who puts it towards goal and forces the first save of the day. And Brittany Rogers is the one to clear it. Competent work by the goalkeeper to get down quickly to her left. And she's kept Parklea in it. And without having conceded a corner as well. Very good stuff. Randall puts it back to Martinez, who's all over the place in a good way. Don't take that the wrong way. Palazzolo tries to feed it forward. It didn't happen. It's been snuffed out here by Parklea, who tried to break from this as well. Cassidy Williams running in behind, and they're going to try and feed her. Up against Horgan here. She's got past her. Now she has to beat Paige Hawkins. Well, no one to really cross two in the box, and it ends up being an easy save for Jacinta Mawson, the hat-wearing goalkeeper for Holroyd. So that's one save apiece now between the two sides as this game starts to heat up in the freezing cold. And then sent in towards the stands there. It's actually come off the roof, so don't think that the ball stayed in play. A lot of love for Holroyd in our live chat section, so plenty of people watching along who couldn't make it to the ground today. Holroyd, the tabletoppers. People like to watch good football. Thrown in by St Julian. A reminder, by the way, if you're new to this competition, it is unlimited interchange. It is not substitution system in the Women's Premier League. One day, perhaps when we do get reserve grades and perhaps 20s or 21s to come with it too, we can look to change that. But for now, in the inaugural year, we go with what's worked. Holroyd working themselves into a corner. Palazzolo's been snubbed of it. And Cassidy Williams will have to turn provider if she can keep it in, which she cannot. So just a throw in. Well, 8 minutes gone. There's been one save apiece. There's been opportunities to have shots in either box so far. I'd say Parklea have probably had the better territory in the game, but very, very even right now. Throw in taken by Vivian Vo. And she's been able to keep it in after it bounced back to her unwillingly. She's done quite well to clear. Picked up there by Alexandra Reeves. Sent up by Palazzolo. Parklea are the ones driving forward, but Paige Hawkins has something to say about that. Randall, the 9 who wears 8, she's given it away. Reeves has done quite well once again. 2 key interceptions in the space of 30 seconds there. Picked up by Regan Mitchell, who pivots and finds Julian. Hawkins again, the 2 centre-backs from either side who are having a big role in these last couple of moments. And now she's continued marauding on forward down that right-hand side. Ended up being really good work by Melissa Bentley, the number 2, playing as the number 5 today. Long thrown again by Vivian Vo. Reeves, who has 3 goals to her name this year, usually a fullback capable through the middle, as we're learning about today. 3 goals, 1 being from a set piece. So both teams very adequately poised to score from set pieces if that opportunity does come, and I promise it will at some point. Sent in towards Randall, who's come central for this play here. Well won by Parklea, but then given away once again. Well done by Horgan. And will be a Holroyd though as they look to maintain this bit of territory they've got here. They haven't really been able to hold much possession up in Parklea's defensive third in these opening 10 minutes or so. Mainly because Parklea have been quick to shut them down. Well done by Reeves there to snub it out. It's been found here, and Parklea have some space to drive on into, but a poor touch there by Shannon Ellis, and should be picked up here easily by Takatahiwi. Alonso de Brezhny gave it back to her, and the left back and left wing are combining quite well. Now it's put into Daniela Palazzolo. Here is CJ Martinez, who then tries to feed it through. She's got 3 assists this year, the diminutive midfielder, but not this time. Will she be adding to that tally? And cleared by Shannon Williams. That's a monster kick. Horgan's done quite well though. She's probably been used to that after round 1. Now she's a little bit out of position though. Squared by Cassidy Williams towards Ellis, and it didn't quite work. And away comes Hawkins. I've been a big fan of her work so far. Look at how she just strives on forward. And it's been sent wide here to Felicia Alonso de Brezhny. She's now into the box on her left-hand side. She squares it into the middle. Can she turn Bernard now? She's put it backwards instead towards Martinez, and then struck from distance by Palazzolo. I like the idea a lot. Didn't quite get that direction. And it goes out by the eye-bake sign, but nice from Holroyd. They're growing into this game with every minute that passes by. And just in the downtime, a reminder, if you do like what you're seeing or like what you're hearing, don't forget to hit the like button on the Facebook stream that you're watching along from. Take the time to minimize the screen. It is very much greatly appreciated by all three associations and the players themselves as well. Putting on a show for you today with the sun in their eyes and the wind whipping at their skin. Martinez picks it up and found her somehow, and she put it forward, but it's been snuffed out by Brittany Rogers. Hawkins involved again. Centre-backs on both sides have been really impressive so far. St Julian couldn't quite get the touch off, but Courtney Holmes will pick it up just crossing the halfway line now. Still deadlocked at 0-0 here, but there's been chances to score from both ends. That is just be a goal kick here, though. It's been a very fun start to this game. There is being substitution made early on here. I believe that to be Melissa Chan in the number 8 jersey coming on. A fantastic fullback, capable on both sides, Mel Chan. A brand new inclusion to the squad this year. And Parklea forced to rotate early, or perhaps they've got some sort of master plan that they are yet to just reveal. Picked up here by D. King. Sent wide to Alonso de Brezhny, who again pivots on the spot. Look over the shoulder there by Palazzolo. She's by hook or by crook found her right winger in Natalie Randall. Martinez will pick it up and put it back to Vivian Vo. Great work there to make triangles with only 2 people, and look how they can move on forward up the right hand side flank. And they win a throw, and their combinations are starting to work a little bit better now. Holroyd and Parklea are forced to adjust. Throw-ins to come in. Flicked on by Randall. There is Sarah Bernard, who's a long way from goal, but can she win a corner? No, just a goal kick. And that attack goes begging. But again, good stuff by Holroyd. They're improving with every moment. Williams takes the goal kick. It's bounced once before finding Martinez, who's picked it up twice from goal kicks now. Not her own goal kicks, funnily enough. Now Parklea need to be a bit more combative off their own goal kicks. Picked up by Vivian Vo, who was fouled while running after the ball, and it's been called. So we talked about them from set pieces and how competent they are. What about from almost the halfway line? Can they find the power in the left boot of D. King to get this in? Sun in her eyes, but can she try and break that defensive line? That's a good ball with great direction, and Martinez is putting some pressure on. In the end, really brave work by Shannon Williams in net. She goes long, well clear of the halfway line, trying to find her sister, of course, Cassidy Williams. They've spent a combined 32 years in these wonderful Parklea colours, those two. And this could bounce awkwardly. And Parklea need to be careful here. Luckily for, I was going to say Melissa Bentley, she would have been offside, but now she's not after the touch. It's been sent wide to D. King. Can she strike towards goal on her Rica right-hand side? She would have hoped that it would have gone more towards her left. But that was actually rather intelligent play by the number 10, Natalie Randall, who just waited until she was legally back onside and then put the pressure on. Just a goal kick. And now these last 5 minutes dominated by Holroyd. D. King tried one from distance. It will just be picked up again by the goal kick taker. And maybe they just need to clear their lines this time. That's a great kick off the right boot. But again, Horgan is there to win. St Julian got the second touch. Cassidy Williams got that one, and Paige Hawkins picks it up and does well to send it wide towards Alonzo de Brezhny. Melissa Chan gets her first touch of the game, and it was a painful one by her reaction off the ball. I'm not sure if you were able to pick that up on camera, but I certainly saw it. Hopefully she's all good. She's got a tough contest for the rest of the game up against Alonzo de Brezhny, as Cassidy Williams, speaking of tough contests, puts a challenge in and is able to put the pressure on and wins her side a throw-in, as now Parklea tried to respond to that pressure that Holroyd had been putting on. Well done here by Horgan. And now she marauds on forwards with space to run into as well, but great work and recovery there. Really nice stuff by Shannon Murray, the 22-year-old. Funnily enough, and as respectfully as I can say it, at 22, she's one of the younger players in the side. Of course, this Parklea side, as I said in the intro, are one of the most experienced in all of, really, these three associations. They've been together for around 10 years. And they're all wonderful people who socialise together, as I said, but one of the newcomers in Shannon Murray in recent years. Bernard tried to turn provider, did the striker, usually the one on the end of those chances. Cassidy Williams now puts it back to St Julian. She'll be calling for it now as she runs in behind the last defender. Really good work, though, by Vivian Vo. In her first year at the club, though, she's given it away. Ellison now, Cassidy Williams, she's offside. Not that she knew about it. Unbeknownst to her, as she ran down on Jacinta Mawson in goal, and she's frustrated with that call there. Wondering, should I have been in on goal with that flag staying down? Close, but no cigar just yet. And this game is leaning more towards a goal in these next couple of minutes. We're getting closer and closer. The two teams are opening up just a little bit. It's good to see that these top-of-the-table clashes, and particularly this one, have all brought about goals. There have been huge amounts of goals in all the games, especially in the match of the round streams. We've seen 4-2s, we've seen 5-2s, we've seen huge scorelines. And it looks like the two sides that do face up in the match of the round aren't too scared of not putting on a show, or perhaps looking silly if they throw too many bodies forward. I think it's been a real welcome set of performances in the match of the round live streams. Rogers, that's poor from her, but it's been alleviated by Melissa Chan up against Alonzo de Brezhny, and she's done well, has the only sub-on of the game. Well recovered by Holroyd's midfielder Charmaine Martinez, a former MacArthur Rams youth and reserve grade player. One of three players who came from Escall Park FC. Two of them are yet to feature off the bench just yet, including their captain as well, who we will rave on about when she does make an appearance. So will that be a corner or a goal kick? I think it will be a corner, so the chance for Parklea to put some pressure on. They've had a couple of corners down this end as well. Let's see what they can do with this one. Coming across is Shannon Ellis to take this. Then it was going to be Regan Mitchell who was going to take it, and instead it's going to be Alexandra Reeves. Now let's see what they're capable of. They're now flooding towards the front post a little bit more than they did last time, so perhaps wary of what the last delivery was like. Reeves, a very good set piece taker. She's scored from one. Can she turn provider now? That's a good ball in, and in the end it was cleared. Put back here to Melissa Chan. Good touch to settle herself back to the corner kick taker, being closed down by Alonzo de Brezhny, and Felicia's done quite well there. That's a good pass inside, and she's received it back now. Another great set of two-man triangles being made. Still, Felicia, de Brezhny, Alonzo. D. King picks it up. That's great use of the body there. Couldn't find Bernard with the back heel. Could the futsal star? Flicked on by Bernard. Brittany Rogers is there. She needs to be careful and just clear. She's now been robbed of possession. Still Brittany Rogers trying to put the pressure on. It's a good ball across the face of the box. It was left intelligently by Shannon Williams in net. But a moment where they might look back on that in the live stream after this game and think, yeah, we should have had someone at the back stick there. Like I said about 5 minutes ago, every minute that goes by, we're getting closer to a goal. I can just tell by the momentum of the game. 20 minutes have already passed on by in this enthralling match. Both teams brave, looking for the first goal of the day. A reminder that it was 2-2 in between these two sides in their first match of the season and their first meeting in the Women's Premier League competition. The goal kicks are a thing of struggle for Parklea so far. They've got to shore that up quickly because they're losing possession every single time. That's the 5th in a row now that they've lost out on. Sent forward towards Williams. Paige Hawkins is too quick there. She just puts it into touch. St. Julian to take the throw-in. She's a very powerful throw-in taker. Look at how far it's come into the box. Click towards goal by Ellis. Should be an easy claim for Mawson. It is. And now she's sent that forward. Bernard under no pressure to take that touch. Great turn and a show of pace by Sarah Bernard. Trying to burst past Tanika Singh there. She's found Charmaine Martinez. Then she sent it back over the top, has Bernard, and it's going to be another claim for the keeper. So the final ball, the little bit of end product, struggling on both ends in both sets of colours today. But with time, it'll come. The more you prod and poke, the more you'll end up finding holes. It's been centred really well towards Martinez. Ended up being a really good interception there by Shannon Murray, who then showed her own great burst of pace in midfield. She's been good to watch so far. Williams very reliant on the ball in behind. Very much does not want it to feet. She'll have a chance to do that now. And she'll win a throw-in, having gained about 20 yards there. Another sub going to be made. Another one by Parklea as well. So it's going to be a little breather for Alexandra Reeves with those yellow boots. Back on Courtney Holmes, I do believe. Again, a throw-in into the box. Williams is there. Poor touch, though. Should be picked up by Vivian Vo. It's not. And a massive coming together there with Shannon Ellis, who might be the one to take this throw-in now. It is. And it comes again, this time by Ellis. Missed by Williams. Handball called. Handball given. Penalty kick with absolutely zero hesitation by Shane Perris, the centre referee. And Parklea have a chance from 11 yards to find the first goal in this ultimate 6-pointer. And from seemingly nothing, it was the mounting pressure on Holroyd that eventually forced the mistake. Like I said, poke and prod and you'll find holes. Well, they found a handball. It's Courtney Holmes who's only just come back on the pitch to take the penalty. Which way will she go? Will this be the first goal that Holroyd conceded in the match of the round? It will be. A fantastically well-placed penalty into the bottom left-hand corner. Courtney Holmes with a great finish. 17 years in Parklea colours. She bleeds that brown, maroon and blue. And she has the one that puts Parklea in front. No real celebrations. There's a long time to go in this game. But an ultra-crucial goal in the grand scheme of things. And could this blow the title race wide open? Well, she scored her first header in 2022 in her 17 years in these colours. And now she scored a first ever penalty in a match of the round as well. It's a time for accomplishments. Cleared by Paige Hawkins. That's only Holroyd's 7th goal conceded in 8.5 games this season. Will that put a spring in the step in either one of these two teams? Will it be the momentum builder or a momentum killer? Martinez picks it up off Holmes, who has the only goal of the game, of course. Picked up by D. King. Lost out by D. King, though. Now she's forced to defend and gets herself in the way. Put forward by Palazzola. Palazzolo, I should say, forgive me. Even Natalie Randall, with all her pace, couldn't keep that one in. Out by the I Love Blacktown sign. Touch there by Regan Mitchell.
Time for Parklea to play with the ball, although they've lost out. Pelazzolo to Alonso de Brezhny, missed initially by Takatahiwi. Look at Paige Hawkins, the work she does, her work rate is exceptional. Now she's into the box, the centre back. Will she keep it in before it goes out? No, unfortunately couldn't find enough space, and the touchline caught up to her. They've changed goal kick takers now in order to get a little bit more power behind it. It's not worked out. It's the same conundrum that they've had all game. D. King flicks it on. Sarah Bernard will unleash a strike from distance and an easy save in the end. That's where she's capable of getting some great distance off the boot, out of the hands. Just a throw in. Back in play. I like the idea by Natalie Randall, but didn't find the execution was perfect. Very capable from throw-ins are the fullbacks and wingers of both these sides, particularly Parklea. Williams got the final touch there, eventually found Regan Mitchell. And not one who usually puts in the crosses is Cassidy Williams, usually the scorer of them. Just a goal kick for Holroyd on the 28-minute mark of the game. It's been sent to this near side towards us. Alonso de Brezhny's there. Takatahiwi as well goes back to Page, and Hawkins puts it out. That's a fatigued pass there. Perhaps the sun in the eyes as well. A monster throw into the box. She keeps her hands down just enough. It could fall to Williams. It doesn't. Horgan does quite well. And put towards goal again. More of a cross. And then a bit of a juggle with the ball, and she's eventually picked it up. Has Jacinta Mawson. A bit risky, but live life on the edge. It's a bit of fun sometimes. Martinez does well. And then it's quite silly to give it away. She had time on the ball there, but wasn't really alerted to it by her teammates. Horgan. Control in the midsection there. Sent wide to her right back. Cassidy Williams, great show of pace. Paige Hawkins comes across out of position to try and deal with her. Cassidy Williams now marauding into the box. Good ball across the face of goal, but caught really simply in the end by a very competent keeper. Rogers should win this out of the sky. She does. Courtney Holmes, there she is, passing the halfway line with that pass. Mitchell, Cassidy Williams puts it back to Holmes and sends it wide. That's a really nice play. Fed in behind, but no one there in blue. Just seen Vivian Vo, the right back of Holroyd, struggling a little bit, doing a stretch there, so hamstrings perhaps pulling up a little lame in the early parts of the game. We're only a third of the way through the 90. Felicia Alonso de Brezhny leaves the throw-in for Luana Takatahiwi. Finds D. King. Good footwork. Manages to keep it in on that near side touchline. Up against Melissa Chan. She's done well. Bernard tried to centre it towards Martinez. In the end, it was picked up by Pelazzolo. Horgan loses possession. And now she's got to try and recover her position. She got enough of a touch there for Pelazzolo to pick it up, but she had to give it away too. Came in too hot. Cassidy Williams was looking for it. Picked up well by Vivian Vo, who came central to deal with it. Hawkins, awkward touch initially then. She couldn't clear it, but she's quick enough to recover. Her keeper should come for this. She does. Well done by Mawson. Bentley leaves it out for a throw. Intelligent defending there. What's happening here? There's a hold up, so off goes Shannon Murray for the first time in the game. And for the first time in Match of the Round history for young 18-year-old Ashley Boulter, a borrowed player today from 2nd Division All-Age of Parklea. And at just 18, she's got a big future ahead of her if she wants to perhaps move up to this team in a permanent way. She's got a chance to make an impact now in the 52 jersey. In by King, that's a fantastic ball towards the front post. It was almost an Olympico. It is, in fact, unbelievable stuff by King. Well, she's usually the assist provider from the corners. How's an Olympico for you in the Match of the Round? Stupendous stuff from their brilliant technician. And this is why she is so well renowned in this competition. The 22-year-old, the 22nd year at Holroyd, I should say, one of the surviving 4 members from last year's squad, and you can see why she made the cut. Well, she was the first name on the team sheet if she can keep doing things like that. And she made it awkward for Shannon Williams, who got something on it but couldn't keep it out. It was perfectly hit. High and difficult to deal with. And we're tied at 1. And Holroyd currently back to being undefeated. If it stays like this. Well done by Taka Tahiwi. We're straight back in play. No time for celebrations. Holroyd all about action. Well, that's 10 years of experience at Apia. That handball was too by King. Just wonderful stuff there in the Match of the Round. I told you, players just seem to find this level of bravery in these WPL Match of the Round games where they just go, okay, I might just hit it. And it's worked out more times than it hasn't from set pieces this year. Will Shannon Williams look back on that and say, maybe could I have done better? Yes, she probably will. I'll take nothing away from the direction on the corner that was hit in. As now Cassidy Williams tries to feed it in. Really well done there by Luana Takatahiwi. Here is Felicia Alonso de Brezhny, and her left back has continued bursting on forward in behind the defence now. She's now being helped out by her left winger. With the outside of her left boot, she finds Felicia. Alonso de Brezhny just cuts back. Not quite brave enough to flick it in on her left-hand side, and in the end, a moment of miscommunication and loss of concentration there. So a first sub now for Holroyd, and the goal scorer D. King comes off. And if I'm not mistaken, if my eyes are working, I would believe that that is the number 20, their captain, who's just come on, Angela Gardner. I'll confirm to you in a second. Takatahiwi picks it up. Really strong work there by Brittany Rogers. That's the kind of work that I was talking about. Puts it into touch there. Daniela Palazzolo will take the throw in and gains a couple of yards courtesy of the referee. It is the number 20, Gardner, the captain, who's on the pitch now. Hawkins communicates that she's lost the ball in the sky, but she was still able to pick it up. Martinez will now recycle it, sends it wide towards, of course, Natalie Randall, and should be picked up by the keeper. A little bit awkward. It's been missed by the keeper, and a chance to launch it towards goal has been lost out. Sarah Bernard didn't get there first, and then eventually off the bench and straight towards goal, and a competent save. And she was lucky that no one was following in, and just to take the pressure off, Melissa Chan puts it out. You can see instantly how much talking Angela Gardner is doing in the middle of the park. She is the one they look to in times of need. The 26-year-old former Inter Lions player at Marconi and Nepean at well. She suffered from a fractured fibula, I should say, in 2019 in a futsal game. Decided she just wants to come back to play local as she got fit again and has ended up falling back in love with the competition and the club. And now she remains here. Welcome to the live stream. A good ball in towards the front post again, and Shannon Williams did much better this time. Great work. So a round of applause received around the ground as well. But that's becoming a bit of a problem. These set pieces must be something that Holroyd work on meticulously each week if they're delivering quality like that every single time. Nicole St. Julian makes way for Parklea. Getting a bit of a breather. Shannon Murray, who's come back on. Well done there by Randall. Gardner was involved again. Palazzolo lost out. And she's picked it back up, has the right winger Randall. Poor pass, tried to be too tricky with it. It's definitely a handball there. If Parklea can play it quickly, they're through. She didn't even look where she was passing Cassidy Williams, unfortunately. Silly giveaway. Takatahiwi up against Cassidy Williams, and certainly a free kick there. But a verbal shake of the hands and they're okay. Takatahiwi launches it forward towards Sarah Bernard. Ended up being picked up by Reeves, but she's forced it out for another corner, and this is something that they don't want to concede. The last two, the only two, really have been very, very dangerous for a Parklea defence. What are they capable of this time? It's Sarah Bernard who will again put it in on this near left-hand side. In swinger, the front post is where you'll be watching. It's been missed by everyone. It should be clear just about how it ended up at that point of the 6-yard box. I have no idea. Fortuitous Parklea as the pressure mounts from set pieces. Holroyd dangerous. Must win the ball out of the air. Tied at 1 here. Still with 7 minutes to go in this half. Well won by Alexandra Reeves. Alonso de Brezhny into the box, Charmaine Martinez. She then just moves out to find Palazzolo. She's gone down and a set piece is called. You can see the whistle go to the lips of the referee. And now this is really dangerous. Calls from Luke Ryan, the Parklea coach, to put 4 in the wall immediately from the technical area. Standing over at Sarah Bernard. So no D King to take this one. She's currently off the pitch having a breather. Sarah Bernard, who has a match of the round goal and 9 for the season. It's Sarah Bernard. Past the wall and flicked towards goal and somehow wide. A hand-on-head moment, not because she was upset with herself from Bernard, but more of how on earth did that not go in? And Parklea from the set piece once again survive. And really, it's Holroyd who are threatening most from the dead ball situations. Reeves wins it with the side of her face rather than the forehead, and that will certainly hurt in the morning. They're putting some real pressure on Holroyd now. Parklea need to find a grip in midfield. Here's someone who can do that. Cassidy Williams just to burst down this near right-hand side into the channel with bundles of energy and pace. But the delivery towards the front post is poor. That's what Parklea need to do, is play to their strengths. Alonso de Brezhny with a great touch to Luana Takatahiwi. Well won by Gardner, but it went away from her after a ricochet. Angela Gardner picks it back up and then takes it off her own woman and then wins it back herself. Hacked into there by Reeves, but she's done well as the captain of Holroyd. Cleared by Mawson, but intelligently out to her left. Takatahiri puts it forward. Luana now sends it up the line. Good touch by Bernard. Alonso de Brezhny has space to work into. Bernard to her left. Grazzolo through the middle. Bernard with the delivery in. Little touch there off of Regan Mitchell, then flunked towards goal again, and it forced an awkward save out of Shannon Williams, but technique she's come to get very used to over the years of being a goalkeeper. Gardner with a great touch. Just behind the halfway line, pivots and then puts it back towards Louise Horgan. And sends it wide, but it's picked up by Bentley. From left back of Parklea to right back of Holroyd. She's done well there, has Vivian Vo. She's won it back, being pressured there by a newcomer to the team, the 18-year-old. Well done there by Ashley Bulter. 5 minutes to go, even less. I think there'll be about 2 minutes added on, so maybe we'll get to around 4 or 5. Picked up by Shannon Ellis, but struggles to get there first. Well done there by Daniela Palazzola. Tried to feed it through towards Bernard. Picked up real well by Tanika Singh. Bulter will win the throw-in there, I do believe. No, she won't. Referee gestures the other way for the throw-in. Foul throw, question mark being asked, question mark being raised, I should say, questions being asked. Snuffed out there by Tanika Singh. One there by Bernard, who's off to the right for the time being. One in the middle by Courtney Holmes, picked up by Vivian Vo. Pelazzolo has lost out, has the defensive midfielder, but she's been reprimanded by her centre-back. And that's a poor giveaway. Didn't quite look up, did the left back. Luana Takatahiri, who played with the Christian Football Federation comp for 2 years before heading to Holroyd. In the Women's Premier League system, of course. Randall came central, but Brittany Rogers intervened. Fed through towards Williams, should be picked up by Louise Horgan, and it is. Does she win that? I think she has won that throw-in. Actually, really good work. No, she hasn't, apparently. She's upset with that. That's a good interception there. But she's been hit in the face there, and she's now out of the attack, and Cassidy Williams squares it towards Ellis, and it's been cleared by Takatahiri. Horgan using that little shot of adrenaline to get back involved in the play. But she was definitely hurt there, and she's going to feel it now. Now, the worst time to concede a goal would be right now for either of the two sides. It would completely change the team talks by both their head coaches, Parklea's Luke Ryan or Danny Risk. From Holroyd, of course, two long-time coaches of these women's senior entities. They were the coaches in the all-age system. They're now the coaches in the inaugural Women's Premier League system too. Lost out there by Bentley. Can Holroyd find one last final attack before the halftime whistle is blown? No, they won't. No added on time at all, and we enter the stanza break at, of course, deadlocked at 1-1. Fantastic goals from both ends. Great pressure was put on to win the penalty, and a really coolly placed one before an Olympico of all things from Dee King, the number 16, who plays as the 10, who then made way for the bench, but has made a wonderful contribution to this and finding her third goal of the game. For my first time being able to commentate Holroyd, I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen. Parklea doing what they do best and hitting the channels, using their pace in behind. But this is on a knife's edge in the race for first place and perhaps that minor premiership. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about 12 minutes for a little look and a preview of the second half. We'll see you soon.
WPL action here at Blacktown Football Park, about to restart in the coming minutes. It's Holroyd who have made their way back out onto the pitch, having been the most recent goal scorers in the game. Once I finally get my words settled as we exit to the break, it's Parklea who are taking a little bit more time in the change rooms, but they still do technically have about 5 minutes if they want to use up that time. It's been an enthralling game so far. It's Parklea who have used more of their talent off of the bench, but the one who made the most impact is the one who's sitting on the bench right now for Holroyd, D. King, who had that fantastic Olympico goal, a rarity, but apparently not when it comes to Women's Premier League games at this venue. Down that end of the pitch, we've now seen one in the 2022 Grand Final that was played here between Parklea and Rydalmere last year, and now we've seen one on that far side as well. Just an amazing goal. Parklea got their goal, of course, through a penalty as the referees make their way back out between those two Spartans signs down that end of the pitch, as you'll be able to see soon on your screen. And it was one that came from some mounting pressure on the back line of Holroyd. A bunch of throw-ins that came in and were cleared until one bounced awkwardly and hit a hand, and an instant call by Shane Paris, the Sensei referee, to give the spot kick, which was dispatched to perfection by Courtney Holmes, one of the senior figures in the Parklea side. I wonder what the difference between the two team performances compared to their first half showings will be as we do enter the second passage of play. I think it's going to be more of the same in a lot of ways, but perhaps it'll be the difference maker in King who comes back on. I think what we've seen already is that Holroyd have had a midfield advantage once their captain, of course, in Angela Gardner, came on in that number 20 jersey. The talking improved straight away. The ball movement and speed at which it moved increased very, very quickly. She's only just been welcomed back into action in the last 2 match weeks, having suffered a couple of fractures in pre-season. She'd missed the entire season up to this point. It looks to me like, well, luckily I'm quite adept at knowing who Parklea are. It looks to me like Julia Topalovic has actually entered the field of play in the number 10 jersey for Parklea. So a late inclusion onto the bench. Lucky I know, because she was not on the bench when the game started. So away we go, which is funny because I saw Julia was watching along on the stream before as this first half started. So very strange. Anyway, back to action as Holroyd get on the front foot straight away. Should be Shannon Williams' ball, and it is. Holroyd starting on the front foot, sending it forward. Palazzolo was the one who got the initial touch. Topalovic involved straight away. Been lost out there by Shannon Murray. So Parklea have had their own response to the captain of Holroyd, the midfield general in Gardner, coming on. Sarah Bernard trying to find a goal to her name as well. Left-footed strike towards goal, pumped upwards by Williams, and a good save in the end, and it brings about a round of applause from everyone at this ground. A busy couple of opening seconds to this one. It's Louise Horgan coming forward for the set piece, and we saw how dangerous the set pieces can be for the defence of Parklea. Can they sharpen up? In towards the middle of the 6-yard box, and Marquez was there. In the end, Parklea under no pressure to actually clear this ball, so Brittany Rogers has time. And that's poor communication there. Should have been played more to feet. Execution had to be better, and it puts the pressure right back on Parklea. Must be frustrating for the coach that there. One there by Bentley. Handball called by the assistant referee. Quite hilariously, Gardner has fallen over her own feet there. Might have actually hurt herself too. Having a little stretch. Hopefully she's alright. I think she actually has given herself a bit of a knock there. Perhaps she's just having a little hobble around to try and play it off. I mean, she might have actually hurt herself. She is down from having a little slip over on the ball while the ball was dead, technically. Anyway, Sarah Bernard tried to feed it through towards Marquez, but in the end it just found the goalkeeper. That little last touch hasn't been great
by either side in this game so far. Of course, both goals coming from set pieces technically. One there by Palazzolo. And then cleared quite convincingly by Tanika Singh. Down goes St Julian. So Parklea's own chance to put in a set piece. It is put towards goal. Will bounce once and will claimed in the end by Jacinta Mawson. And is a touch by Singh. Throw in for Gardner to take. Touch by Shannon Murray, really nice. Cassidy Williams now. A nutmeg in there on Vivian Vo. Sent back out wide for Williams. Left footed cross in. That's a better direction on it and ends up coming to Murray, who hits it and hits it over. Just waiting for a ball. Just waiting for a mate. Markin's deft touch, but ended up being snuffed out. Bit of a back and forth on that far side there and a tussle for possession. Ebia, who's just come off the bench at left back for Luana Takatahiwi, has come on with those green boots in the 39 jersey. On the free kick, it'll be Parklea's way again. Bit stop-start this second half. Neither side really able in these last couple of moments to put their foot on the ball, really, besides Holroyd's pressure initially from the kickoff. Bit too shallow to really drive anything towards goal. Horgan picks it up, taken off though by Bentley. One in the end by Vo. Palazzola picks it up. Topalovic puts it the wrong direction. Picked up here by Felicia Alonso de Brezhny. Here is Ebija. One well again by the subbed on left back. First year at the club, another one of those Eskill Park former players. Got 2 goals and 5 assists to her name, has the utility fullback. Preferred in defence today though. Well done here by Reagan Mitchell. Holroyd have a chance to break here. Could they find the one that puts them in front for the first time in this game? It's Natalie Randall looking for her 4th goal of the season. Squared towards her striker and put out for a corner. The pressure is building. Holroyd are working into it now. It's past now 4:06 p.m. here in Rudy Hill, so the shadows are starting to creep across the pitch, and pretty soon we'll be without any sunlight in the eyes, which will be a real welcome thing for this game and the players out there especially. So for the first time in the game, an outswinging corner from Holroyd. But the breeze is blowing towards goal, though. It's a good ball in. It was headed towards by Randall's been dropped, and then the keeper tried to get a touch on, and then Martinez was there. She hits her own player in Horgan. The play is still going on, and Parklea finally alleviate the pressure on their shoulders. And it will be a throw-in for Holroyd, and that was the closest anyone's come in this second half, certainly. In the end, it was Shannon Williams who did really, really well to keep it out, putting her body on the line. Topalovic has only just warmed up to the game, having been subbed on at half-time. Here is Topalovic with that header. Alonzo de Brezhny, and then Melissa Chan's gone down in some pain as well, and has stayed down for the time being. They need to plug that gap. The ball's now gone into touch, so they can deal with that now. Well, the opening 8 minutes or so have been quite hectic, haven't they? Finally back in play now. Given back to Holroyd. Show of sportswomanship. Straight back into the action. Well played there. Topalovic involved, put forward towards Reagan Mitchell. And now streaming on forward is Shannon Murray. No real options in the box to aim to. She's been forced to hold it up just a little bit. Back to St. Julian. There's a switch of play to Williams on if they want to. Instead it's put in with no one there. That's going to go out. She was facing the wrong way when she kicked it, Mawson. Well done there by Shannon Murray. She's been everywhere. Hard-working midfielder. Past Martinez Bentley, but not past here. Natalie Randall. Is that going to stay in? It will. Have to be really careful. Tanika Singh. Picked up by Martinez, the 19-year-old, who centres it to Randall, then tried to feed it forward, but she knew she was offside, Sarah Bernard, and just left it. Launched forward with some real height. Everybody missed it the first time it bounced. Is there a handball involved there? There was. Free kick Holroyd. But she's saying she was pushed. Luke Ryan, the coach of Parklea, saying that his player was pushed and that he wants to go to VAR. Well, he can. There's only about a 20-second delay, so that's all they've got to wait for the replay. That's a very good ball forward. There's space for Holroyd to perhaps find a shot off here. It's Pelazzola. And in the end, Shannon Williams falls onto the ball and makes another save. It's probably about 8 or 9 for her now. Strong work there. Oh, great feet. Murray, great stuff. Williams sends it wide, asking a lot of Bentley. Vivian Vo does well, and well enough to win her side a throw-in too. Bentley missed it initially, picked up by Randall, former Camden Tigers NPL player. Angela Gardner here on the flank, holding possession. Parkley's ball. Martinez unhappy. Williams with the control. Launched forward by Holmes, a little directionless there. Picked up by Paige Hawkins, doing what she did a couple of times in the first half to create the extra man overload. Brittany Rogers should be the one to pick it up. Here she does. She sends herself wide with the ball and then puts it out into touch. Rogers again, just launches it forward, this time towards Topalovic. Picked up by Martinez. She's now got space. Perhaps she might launch one from distance. Good block by Singh. Topalovic. St. Julian, forgive me. Well done by Gardner. There's the experience at the highest level showing through there. Great turn on a dime there by Alonso de Brezhny. Sarah Bernard back to goal. A lot of work to do if she wants to try and unleash a shot. She might look to provide a secondary assist, perhaps. No. Well, that's what she tried. Ended up being a throw-in, but it's in her side's favour. Put into the box. That's a really good ball. Hand stayed down, so that'll be okay. And then it's been cleared by Brittany Rogers. Couldn't get it under control, could Reagan Mitchell. This will be a difficult one to win. Martinez with a decent touch off the thigh there. She then picked it up off Bentley. Real dogged work to try and keep the ball. She's done real well there, Martinez. Been very impressive today. Receives a high five from Natalie Randall. That's what counts. Well done by Randall again. And she gives away the pass with the square ball. Topalovic beats Alonso de Brezhny. Then beats Pelazzolo. Doesn't beat Hawkins, though. And then meets a 50-50 that's gone Parklea's way thanks to Courtney Holmes, who's had a rock-solid game at the heart of the midfield. Pace to burn here for Parklea's roadrunner. Cassidy Williams doing so well. Now into the box. Left-footed delivery. A bit too lame. Hawkins. Strong work. And she's doing what she's done so many times already in the game, where she just picks it up and goes. Holroyd's own Sergio Ramos. Here comes Sarah Bernard. Wants to hit double figures today in front of the match of the round audience. Still Sarah Bernard. Cuts back past Rogers. And then she recovers well as the Parklea defender. And then just sends it into a bit of space. Angela Gardner picks it up though. Divvy past her player there. Past Murray. Rogers up against Sarah Bernard. Decent ball in, but easy for the keeper in the end. I like the ideas being made by Holroyd though. Somehow Daniela Palazzolo won that. And then in space now, Martinez. Can she beat the last defender, Rogers, with a key touch there? She was left with no help around her, so she had to win that, and she did, and did it fairly too. If you can tell by the shadows across the pitch, probably about 5 more minutes until we are in relative darkness. Tanika Singh has to be careful, and she is. Good control. And she has time too to deal with this as we cross past the 2/3 mark of the game. Well, we've seen in the first half what happens when you let the ball bounce from a throw-in, but Parkley's lucky that nothing came from that. Cleared by Shannon Williams. Great touch by Angela Gardner. Handball definitely, and Holroyd will be able to keep their territory and their pressure on Parkley's defence. Parkley are going to go to their bench. Bentley off. Holmes off. Is that Alex Reeves coming back on? Will bounce once before the edge of the box. Palazzolo goes down. Picked up by Hawkins. It was Bernard, forgive me. Ebia. Here is Nicole Ebia. And it missed Martinez there. And Parkley have a chance to break if they're quick with it. Cuts back inside Williams. She gives it away. Hasn't had her best day, but we have such high standards of the 2-time Golden Boot winner. It's a foot race here, and look at the long strides there of Felicia Alonso de Brezhny. Rogers did really well though. Shorter strides from Brittany, but she got there in the end. Good touch with the face there of Alex Reeves. It'll hurt tomorrow, but she's just saved the ball from coming in. Space here for Gardner to line one up, and it didn't have the power behind it. Asking for a handball, nothing even thought about. Nothing crossed the referee's mind there at all in regards to a handball. Hawkins clears, flicked on again by Gardner. And then again cleared by Reeves. Poor pass by the experienced midfielder, who is still struggling actually in this game. And she fell. What happened was, if you've just joined us, she fell over after the ball had been stopped due to the referee's whistle for a throw-in, and she was just sort of dilly-dallying on it. And she actually tripped over it, and she fell rather awkwardly, and it hasn't been the same since. That's a really strange case and way to get injured. Well, I've seen stranger things. It was a good show too. But that's certainly up there with one of the strangest. Topalovic putting pressure on Palazzolo there. Parklea doing all the defending at the moment. Snuffed out well by Topalovic. Cleared by Shannon Ellis. Rogers missed it. Oh, Melissa Chan missed it, forgive me. And now Randall puts it in. Really important touch there, but in the end is with an open goal to fire at. What a save, Williams. That is unbelievable. How on earth has that not found the back of the net? I stood up in the commentary box thinking it's a certain goal. But some miraculous goalkeeping by Shannon Williams. And they've stayed at Parklea. Maybe that will be the little boost that they need to get back into this. Hands by the body, so on we go, but she cleared it in a moment of haste. And things calm back down. How on earth did Sarah Bernard not find her 10th of the season there? Chan wins the header. He's going to find the left back again. Been beaten to it by Vivian Vo. No one in that space there. It's still Angela Gardner who's really struggling. She's not going to be the one to run in behind in her current state now. Great touch there by Shannon Murray. Big fan of that. Melissa Chan. That's an awkward one for Tanika Singh to deal with. She did it a little bit haphazardly. Well done on the tackle on Alonzo de Brezhny. And then it'll go out almost down the raceway. And we'll have another ball come in. So Murray coming off. Ellis trying to put pressure on Horgan there. Horgan's letting it run, and she's done well to change direction quickly. Ebeja sent it up the line. In the end, it got enough of a touch off of Parklea to win Holroyd a throw. 65 minutes have been played now. Bulter has come back on for Parklea. In that 52 jersey. Missed by Topalovic, not by Tanika Singh though. Picked up by a woman who would certainly want a goal in this game, having come so close just then, Sarah Bernard. Great work by Reeves. Parklea still the ones doing all the defending though. Now these two sides heading to another draw. Will it be only the second game that Holroyd have dropped points in? Annalise Helene has come on, by the way, in that 14 jersey with the headband on. The 25-year-old's only goal of the season came as the first one against Marion in the live stream match of the rounds, and it was an absolutely sensational long-range belter. So can she repeat that, having just come on in this game here too? She's replaced Randall, the right winger. Shannon Ellis. Holroyd still the ones doing the high pressing right now. Struggling Parklea to cope with it. Turning on a dime once again is the very agile Felicia Alonso de Brezhny. Parklea now trying to break away, but they just can't find anything at all, make any combinations outside of their own half at the moment. It's all Holroyd who are putting their foot on the ball. Look at the way that Louise Horgan has just driven on past the halfway line, trying to turn provider now. She'll get a second bite of the cherry here. Makes a darting run inside. Past as well, Bulta. Palazzolo gives it away. Vivian Vo, the ball's bouncing their way now too. Here is Annalise Helene. Still Annalise Helene. She's been fouled. That'll be a yellow. Almost certainly that'll be a formal caution. She very much could have whipped one in there. Well, it's not going to be a formal caution. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know why it isn't. Anyway. Maybe you need more of a reaction next time, Vivian Vo, to really sell it. In it comes by Bernard. Chan had her hands up. It's fallen eventually to Parklea, who can clear it. The ball's being allowed to bounce too many times in the box by Parklea, and it will come to their undoing if they are not careful. I promise you it will. You can only survive so many times. This is where they've been most dangerous today. Still yet to see King return to the pitch. Big work for Shannon Williams, perhaps in goal. Good ball in towards the back stick. Horgan was there! And wide it went. Cleared from the goal kick. Missed by Gardner. Picked up by Horgan, who had the most recent chance from that corner, of course. That'll have probably too much power behind on it for Helene, and it does. It's been allowed to bounce once, twice, three times, and Cassidy Williams almost got past the last defender, but unfortunately for her, that last defender was Paige Hawkins. This very versatile centre-back with blue boots has been uber impressive in this game. Looks like she's moving a bit more mobile and freely. The captain, Gardner, picked up by Pelazzolo, and she's fortuitously maintained possession. She's continued on her run as well. She'll receive it back. It's Daniela Palazzolo to find the one that puts them in front. Great work there by Holroyd. Really stunning football. And they've come from behind to put themselves in front. They've been putting the pressure on. They've been working hard, and eventually the ball has bounced their way. And that was deserved. That's 3 goals for the season for Daniela Palazzolo. And she slipped it under the keeper, who'd been doing such good work to keep them in it with some miraculous saves, but not this time. And Holroyd show exactly why, in front of everyone watching, they are top of the table, and by a convincing margin as well. Now let's assume that Kellyville won their game today up against Marion, who are bottom of the table. That would put Kellyville on 18 points, up from 15, but with Holroyd now winning from 22, they go to 25, which would maintain the 7-point gap. Castle Hill United today played against Quakers Hill, who are second bottom from the table, only 1 win from 8 games. And if they won, they'd only be 2 behind Parklea. The top 4 race, and who wants to finish where and get their home finals appearances, well, those are heating up. It's a real fun one. Don't take your eyes off Greystanes, though, either. On the same amount of points as Castle Hill, they're playing Norwest. And still Norwest only 1 point behind both Castle Hill and Greystanes. So, what is that? Call that a six-way battle for top four. But one team at the top, certainly the ones who are staking their claim for the minor premiership. Great finish, Palazzolo. Hawkins sends it wide. Here is the fresh legs of Helene up against Melissa Chan. She's done well, has Annalise Helene. Oh, what a touch over Rogers. And then it's Reeves who picks it up and clears it finally. Reagan Mitchell wide to Cassidy Williams, who's gone from left wing to right wing. Tries to twist and turn past Ebeja. That ball will stay in, but will she get there first? Hawkins is quick too. Throw in Parklea. Not too much pressure on her right now, so she can go back to the throw-in taker. Coming together off the ball. And Holroyd have conceded now a free kick. And they're a little frustrated with that. What can Parklea do from here? This is an important moment in the game, you know. Can they find the right delivery? Reeves standing over it. Alexandra Reeves. To hit or deliver. It's a good delivery and it's flashing across the face of goal and an unbelievable miss. So close by Reagan Mitchell. She just had to extend a little farther out, but she couldn't. What a delivery by Reeves. A set-piece superstar she's become in this season. Cassidy Williams has gone off. Who has come on in place? It's Shannon Murray who's come on. Throw in Parklea. Can I just say, by the way, Daniela Palazzolo's finish was great, but Sarah Bernard's unselfishness to give it back after receiving it from her six was utterly brilliant. A delightful, delicious pass into the path of the goal-scoring, deep-lying midfielder. And that's such a great third-man run there. And I said that they were becoming quite dangerous from set pieces. Well, that was all made in midfield. Turn by Murray, didn't quite work out. She's come off a little worse for wear from that. Should be an easy claim for Mawson. Well done. Sends it wide, but this is going to bounce rather harshly for Holroyd. Can they keep it in? They have. Missed by Reeves, which will get a second chance to make amends. She puts it back to Brittany Rogers. Has a little giggle while doing it too. Topalovic picks it up past the most recent goal scorer and currently the match winner too. A big coming together there. Love to see that, but the play is still going on. Rogers picks it up. Lucky for Parklea there. Missed by Bulter. Gardner. Oh, now into the box. Across the face of goal and no one's there, unfortunately. (15 on 15) and it's Holroyd who comes out on top in Louise Horgan. Gardner tried to turn between two players. It didn't work out for her. Topalovic trying to help launch a counter-attack. Sent wide by Shannon Ellis. Singh who sends it into touch. A sub's going to be made. Back comes Dee King, whose father, brother and herself, by the way, when they were living in England, in the place that they were born, were coached at their school by Harry Redknapp, believe it or not. Good old Harry Redknapp. Gave one of the greatest single interviews of all time in any code of sport in the history of journalism, I'd say. Also quite a good coach as well. I wonder where Dee picked up all of her skills from. Perhaps that was where some of it at least came from. I wonder if Harry Redknapp can teach you how to do an Olympico. Maybe Jamie would. Back to the point. Parklea still in their box defending currently. There was a couple of minutes there where they were really pushing forward in an attempt to find another equaliser. Alonso de Brezhny didn't quite get her touch right, but she still won a corner from it. Well, here is the one who found the most spectacular goal of the game. Great flat delivery again. Shannon Williams comes for it. And it's a good touch and cleared by Rogers. And now St Julian has a chance to drive into space, perhaps. And she hasn't stayed on side, unfortunately, Murray. Holroyd urged to play it quickly by their coach, Danny Risk. Who wants to take a risk? Sorry, the puns are too good today, forgive me. It's an irresistible one there. Launched forward by Horgan. Reeves puts it into touch. Just 10 minutes left to go. Holroyd still winning 2-1. Gardner sends it up towards Helene. Throw in Holroyd. Annalise Helene to take. King was there. I like the idea, but she lost out. Strong by Horgan. Picked up by Bulter, but she gave it away, and then she's beaten by the centre-back. Vo to Horgan in a strange area of the pitch for her. Wins a throw in though. She might leave it for her fullback, who does. And throw into the wrong colour jersey. Helene. Dee was always going to get the touch right there. She tries to just switch the play. It's actually an exceptional pass. Felicia Alonso de Brezhny. Gardner. Quick bit of acceleration to keep possession of the ball there. Lays it off simply for Vivian Vo. Great turn. Past her oppressor. Bernard trying to turn provider again. Has been cleared quite comprehensively. Parklea going to their bench again. Cassidy Williams will come back on. Topalovic will come off after a positive 30-odd minutes or so. Melissa Bentley coming back on as well. It's bounced 3 times before finally being picked up by Reeves. Missed initially by Ellis. Parklea's throw actually, so can they use this to their advantage? She had a little bit of a break, Cassidy Williams. Can she get past her defenders? No. Oh, really nice work. And then fouled. Well sold as well. And we'll bite off a couple of precious seconds here for Holroyd. Sent forward by King. The technique is just otherworldly from her. Might even work out too. Rogers is probably forced to put it into touch. Actually, good recovery by Melissa Bentley. Then picked up by Helene. Put into touch by Shannon Murray. Here's Annalise Helene. She's in her final year of studying a Bachelor of Health and Science. And put in, and certainly a handball there will give Parklea a chance to relax and perhaps ponder on how they will get back into this game in the final 10 minutes or so. They're running out of time. Bentley, poor touch off of her leg there. Picked up by the match winner so far. Oh, great stuff there by King. Just a joy to watch whenever she's on the pitch. So in there. Picked up by Rogers, who's seal dribbling now like a Brazilian. And sent towards goal. Did it take a touch? No, just a goal kick. Under 6 minutes to go now. Pelazzolo, contender for player of the match. She's won a free kick too. Some serious discontent with that decision there by the referee from the technical area of Parklea. Parklea pretty solidified on the fact that that wasn't a handball. Another good ball in will cause Williams to come for it, and she's done it quite bravely, but it's still been spilled. Put out for a throw by Courtney Holmes. Holroyd looking for 8 wins on the trot, and still an undefeated season so far. Off of King, so it's going to be a goal kick. But it's still Holroyd looking the more likely to score, despite the fact that they are currently battling to keep a lead. But they'd rather extend their lead by 2 goals rather than just the 1. Picked up by Bernard. Might she just hit this towards goal? It's going wide. But I like the idea, and it's brave. And change goal kick takers this time to Reeves. Picked up by Gardner. King couldn't get it under control. Bentley sends it forward. Hit and hope at the moment. Could this work out for them? St Julian will pick it up. Murray couldn't keep it under control. Pelazzolo couldn't either. It's been cleared. Holroyd going to their bench. Sarah Bernard comes off, not after extending her goal scoring tally today, but after extending her assist tally. It's been a fantastic performance by the multifaceted striker. I've been very impressed with what I've seen in person today. She got the one that doubled their advantage against Mario in the first match of the round that Holroyd featured in about a month ago, and now she's been involved in making the winner tonight. Off of the side of the head there of Annalise Helene. Bit of a wry smile there, but that'll sting for a second. Well won there by Gardner, who's a real warrior in the middle of the park. Here is Natalie Randall back onto the pitch. Rogers clears into touch. Just under 3 minutes to go. Holroyd still looking the more likely to find another goal. Parklea maybe a bit content that this game is over for them. Who knows? Can they find an extra gear to switch into? Shift, I should say. Switch into gears, my word. Angela Gardner doing more talking with her fans on the sideline rather than her team out in the middle. That's how comfortable Holroyd are right now in this game. So in Holroyd again, no rush to take this whatsoever. Their own defence are talking among each other, having a good couple of laughs. Parklea have really cooled out and sort of cooled out of this game and lost their momentum, really. I know a lot of them were travelling, well, a couple of them were travelling back from a couple of hours drive away over the weekend. I believe Nelson Bay was the place I'd heard thrown around as I was walking around the grounds before this. Vivian Vose going to exit the field of play, having her first breather in her last involvement. I think that'll be Luana Takatahewi who comes back on just to see out the game. Gardner's gone to right back, Luana to left back. Well, now they're swapping over. They're just going to do a quick change while Holroyd's still maintaining up high. D. King. And then a good ball in, and then missed by Singh, but eventually reprimanded by getting it clear. But still, Holroyd trying to put the pressure on. They want that third goal just to make it clear to the rest of the competition how good they are. This team is going to strike fear into anyone they play. This is why they are top of the table. There's less than a minute to go now. Is there any last hope for Parklea in this one? There's a bit of a lack of jeopardy in this one because Parklea are just looking a little stale at the moment. They're looking short of breath. Now look at the watch by the referee. He's aware that there's about 30 seconds left before we head into any added on time, of which I don't think there will be many, as Holroyd look to make it 8 in a row that they have gotten 3 points from. Is there time? No, because Gardner, too good in the middle of the park. And that will do it for this extraordinary Women's Premier League match of the round here at Blacktown Football Park. 8 wins in a row, 9 undefeated from 9 for Holroyd in this ultra-important 6-pointer. Parklea have fallen on their own sword. After having the lead, it took 2 to respond, and what a set of goals it was. A brilliant pair, first by D. King and Olympico from the top left-hand corner of your screen, where they got a goal from the corner, directly from it, and then some great play between Sarah Bernard and, of course, Daniela Pelazzolo, who found one to squeeze under the keeper. It was a penalty by, of course, Alexandra Reeves to find her 4th of the season that initially put Parklea in front, but in the end they were beaten in most thirds of the pitch today. In fact, they were probably outdone by every opposite number from Holroyd, and they looked very, very impressive. They just sort of gassed in that sort of last third of the game, which, having spoken to their coach, Luke Ryan of Parklea, he was worried might have happened because Holroyd are just a supremely fit side, and they've shown it. One way or another, no matter what you say, in the end, the 3 points goes back, to, of course, to the Greenville Association side. And they might be a bit battered and bruised out there, but they've done it, and they've made amends for the only points that they've dropped at all this season. Parklea will recover when they go and play next week Quakers Hill Juniors. Holroyd will take on Winston Hills at the venue where Parklea found their only loss of the season prior to this game, this being their second, as the top 4 race really does heat up. Thank you for joining us on the Hills, Granville and, of course, Blacktown Women's Premier League Match of the Round live stream. My name is Mark DePoli. Thank you to Willie for holding the camera for us next door in the other room. We really do hope that you have enjoyed what you've seen. If you have, don't forget to leave a like and your live chat comments as we wrap up the stream. Thank you for being here. Next week, of course, Marion Castle Hill back here at this venue at Blacktown Football Park. Same time, 3 p.m. I'll be there as well. I'm uber keen for that. Until then, see you next time.